Hi everyone, welcome to the intuitive card reading for the collective consciousness for May 6th through May 12th. Welcome, welcome, welcome. You guys know the drill. Please like this video. Please share it with anybody that needs to hear the energies of the week and hear the messages of the week. Please subscribe to this channel if you haven't already. And comments, questions, feedback down below. I appreciate every single comment. Be kind. That's all I ask, right? It's not too much I'm asking for, okay? All right, guys, let's jump right into it. I'm excited to see what the week has in store for us, so let's begin. Oh yeah, I forgot to say, same 4 decks, not much has changed, different order, all shuffled, all right? Okay, go ahead and begin. Let's go ahead and begin. We have upside down servant shadow, using the lack of money as an excuse not to move forward with life. Okay, guys. We've been getting so many different messages from so many, I don't even think we've had repeat cards, but we've been getting very similar energy from all of these different cards. So that tells me pay attention. Spirit is obviously trying to tell us something, okay? So we are starting to give excuses, okay? So we're starting to, the energy is starting to be, we're becoming ready, right? We can feel it energetically, but we're still not necessarily moving forward, okay? It's coming through again, and it's under need, so this is basically saying now we're just using excuses still, okay? And this one says something about money, so we could be using excuses about time, we could be making excuses about energy, we can be making excuses about money. So you guys know I don't love the term victim, especially when people use it in a, not in my opinion, the quote unquote right way. But in this particular instance, we're talking about victim mentality, and it almost kind of feels that way, right? It kind of just feels like we're holding ourselves back. It's just like the external environmental things that have been holding us back for so many years are starting to lift, and we're still not necessarily moving forward. So Spirit is asking us and saying we need to stop with the excuses, and we need to kind of move forward, even if it's just putting one foot in front of the other, okay? We've gotten a lot of energy that really alludes to what I'm saying here. So the fact that it's coming up again says that it is something that we really still need to do, okay? Let's see what Action Needed says. Mother Earth, feel loved and comforted. Okay, so this is under Action Needed, and so very similar in tone, I would say, to what we need. So basically this is saying we need to be more grounded. We need to do the things that make us feel more loved, more comforted. So this is actually saying like, it's almost like, this doesn't always happen, but you guys know I read intuitively. So, and these are oracle cards, right? So that means that, you know, they're open to intuitive interpretation. So this is kind of coming through where it's saying that we need to be comfortable, okay? And not necessarily in a negative way, all right? So basically what I'm getting here is like this idea of like finding something that makes us feel comfortable enough to move forward. Now let me think of a good example that I can kind of give you guys. Okay, here's just a simple one. Maybe what you want to be doing or how you want to go forward is to do more public speaking, and you want to be a motivational speaker, for example. So you have to take a public speaking class or go to Toastmasters, if you guys know what that is, and practice, basically. But you're not necessarily booking a class. You're not making the effort to go there. So if it makes you feel more comfortable to bring a friend that maybe public speaks all the time and knows what they're talking about, and they always gas you up and make you feel good about yourself, maybe that's the extra thing that you kind of need to make you feel comfortable enough to kind of move forward, okay? So that's what that's saying. So like I said, they're kind of connected in this way where it's saying like, it's okay if you need to have like a security blanket of some kind before, you know, to help you move forward. Like there's no shame in that game is basically what Spirit is saying. So in order for you to get going, it's okay to you know, bring something that you would see as a comfort zone. I know sometimes it's used in like a negative way, but it's almost, you know, being used in a positive way here. So it's saying to go ahead and do that, whatever can bring you down to earth, whatever can keep you grounded, and whatever moves you forward, okay, and helps you feel more comfortable to do so. That's really what it's saying. All right, what have we got for issues? Clean it up. Okay, so this is about, so this sometimes when it's under the issue alludes to we're having some procrastination issues, right? Because clean it up is really about doing doing the little things, finishing projects that you started, doing the menial tasks, like that kind of thing. So we do have issues in that area. So it doesn't surprise me what I just, starting out what I just said here in this reading. So, where we're procrastinating a little bit in life. And so obviously that's an issue. Doesn't surprise me. Let's see what else could be a challenge here this week. We have awe, ecstasy. Okay, this is interesting. This is actually very different. Okay, so these first three are kind of connected here, but this one is a little different. This one is saying we have issues, awe, ecstasy, wonder, pleasure, seeing the beauty in things, like that kind of thing. So this to me feels like we're having issues. And honestly, it's not that clear, so it'll definitely, we'll see as we go through the rest of the reading, but we're having issues having fun or finding the joy in something or finding the wonder in something and finding the, I don't want to say finding more of the positives. I want to say more of the seeing the beauty in something, okay? So, guys, I'm going to say this. Again, this one really does need some clarifying cards. So obviously, as we go through the rest of the reading, maybe that would make more sense because usually sometimes it does, you guys have seen these readings before. They connect, right? And so it almost feels like, though, that that something might happen that we're not necessarily seeing again, I don't want to say positive or the good, but like the wonder in it, the beauty of it, right? To see the artistry, I almost want to say, in it. So it doesn't feel like it's like a extremely bad or negative thing that happens, but it's something maybe that is different, or you're just having trouble kind of seeing the beauty in the chaos is maybe a better way to kind of say it. So that's interesting. Like I said, I definitely feel like we'll get more clarity as we go along. So let's just keep moving on. Change. Okay, we have child nature, but we have in the shadow tendency to abuse animals, people, and the environment. Okay, this is, again, why it's not, why these cards are not literal. I don't think we're abusing animals out there as a collective. Okay, so basically this is saying that we're not necessarily using our resources to nature or our natural instincts, or we're not necessarily utilizing our environment, or like to be completely honest with you, this is and you guys know I always am but this energy almost feels like it's almost like kind of similar to that advantageous card that we have, the leg up card, and something tells me that it was somewhere in this corner, maybe last week, or we just did the monthly for May, which would make sense. They're pretty close together. But it almost just feels like we're not necessarily using our proper resources, like our natural, almost like God-given environment, people, what's like around us, like using our resources. That's what, like our natural resources, basically. This could be literal, like we're not exactly using, maybe what we need is clean water, for example, and it's like in our backyard. It's our natural resource or whatever. Assuming you have a well or or you live by a lake or whatever. I live in New York City, so that's not possible for me. But we're not using what's naturally being given to us in our environment. Okay, so that could translate to career. Okay, that could mean like a natural skill or talent that you have that you're not like, that's like basically in your back pocket or in your backyard or whatever, that you're not necessarily utilizing at work. And we did have something a couple weeks ago about using hidden skills and talents to help us move forward. So that could be part of it as well. So basically the change is saying you have what you need to make the change. It's right in your backyard. That's basically what it's saying. So take that literally, environmentally, or you could take that metaphorically, like I just gave the example of the career. But there's something here that you're not necessarily utilizing, and it occurs naturally, is basically what Spirit is saying. So yeah, take that as you will. What do we need to focus on? Stag, trust, and thrive. Okay, so we need to focus on, this is also, oh my God, this is just another card of like moving forward, right? This is more masculine type energy, but the trust is more feminine, honestly. So maybe it's a little bit of a balance, but trust and thrive. We really need to move forward and trust that everything is going to work itself out. So we need to kind of just focus on not overthinking and really trusting more. And again, moving forward. Why are all of these things about moving forward? It's like, Spirit, I get it, I get it. All right, reflect, higher power. Okay, great. We haven't had a direct, we've had like a couple of things here and there about connecting to spiritual practices. Not in reflect have we had something like this in a while, and not have we had such a straight, higher power, connect to higher power. There's a 4 on here. That means that's your foundation. So reflect on that. Okay, reflect on how you're connected. Reflect on how you're disconnected. Okay, makes sense that it's next to the trust card, right? Because again, I know I feel like I say this once at least every reading, is that, but hello, I don't know about you, but when I'm going through my daily life, I'm not necessarily thinking about this stuff, right? And so it's good to hear it weekly, monthly, whatever it actually is that we do need to connect to that foundation, okay? We do need to connect to that, our spiritual selves, right? To help ground us, to help, build that foundation, keep that foundation. I was thinking about the quote last week about, you only have one problem in life, and that's really your separation from a higher power. And some people might get a little triggered at that, but honestly, it's, if you really get down to root cause, it's true, guys. I don't know what else to say. It's true. Okay, you really only have one problem. Okay, and so by mitigating and healing and fixing this problem that you have, can solve a lot of things as the foundation of all the other problems, stemming from all the other problems that you're having. Okay, so some wisdom there for you guys, but it's under reflect, so reflect on that for sure. Reflect on what I just said. Responsibilities. We have a claim. Okay, so a claim, I always think of like critical acclaim, like praise, accolades, like things like that. So this is under responsibility. So it's saying you have the responsibility to, it almost feels like to ourselves, right? It feels like an internal thing, right? It's coming off of the reflect card too. It feels like it's connected there, where it's basically saying, give ourselves credit, give ourselves grace, give ourselves the accolades, the acclaim, the praise of how far we've come, how we get through the days, all of those different things. So definitely, that's your responsibility this week, is to I use the word gas up here with your, with that example. So I hope I'm using it correctly. Gassing yourself up, in a positive way, building yourself up, praising yourself up, et cetera, et cetera. So, okay, let's move on. I think you guys get that. Money and finances, we have martyr, but we have it in the positive, learning the transcendent nature of service to oneself or a cause. Okay, so, it definitely does feel like there is some giving energy coming through with money, finances, and career. So I definitely do feel like it's a more type of altruistic type week. And this actually doesn't shock me, because we've gotten this energy of last week of like a more generous spirit. Okay. So, this makes sense to me. And it's not, because if it was in the shadow of the martyr, it would be a little bit of a red flag, but it's not. It's in the positive. So it's saying like basically what I was saying last week is like, we have enough now. Like, we finally feel like we're not in survival mode, so we can be a little bit more lenient. Okay, we can be a little bit more generous. We can be a little bit more in that martyr archetype, where we give to people that are less fortunate, or don't have enough, or or lacking in some type of way. And that usually, after doing that, we, what we put out into the world, we get back. But this isn't necessarily to assume that. It is universal law, but this is just really from the kindness of your heart, the generosity of your spirit, the martyr within you, right? And so That to me tells me that things are good in this area. So if you're wondering if you're worrying about money or anything like that, you have, I don't want to say more than enough, but like you're in a place where you're not in survival mode. So to me, that's a positive. But it definitely does feel like you're, carrying over that generous spirit from last week for sure. Okay, surprise, 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 surprise. Be the light. Okay, interesting. So I was thinking about this card up here with the awe ecstasy. So maybe they are connected because, and like I said, I need to kind of like more clarity on that. This is, we've gotten the White Witch plenty of times before. You guys know it means stepping more into our light, stepping more into our positivity, stepping more into that type of mindset, mentality, that kind of thing. So like I said, we're having issues finding the beauty. I didn't want to say positive, but maybe that's what it is kind of alluding to a little bit, okay? Because it is under surprise. So it might surprise us, basically. I don't know what else to say with that. Every time anything is under that slot there, that is telling me that it's really going to kind of come out of the blue. Now, doesn't mean, I don't mean that all week you're going to be kind of negative and it's going to kind of like shock you that how positive you are. But going back to the example here that I gave about maybe like public speaking, maybe you're going to be surprised at how you can see the beauty, you can see the positivity in that situation, even if, taking a public speaking class was something that you were dreading for a really long time. So it's kind of like you're seeing the positive, the beauty in it, the ecstasy, the fun in it. Maybe, it terrifies you so much. Guys, public speaking is up there with fears, okay? So I picked a good example. So you might be surprised that you find some fun in it, right? But it is still a challenge, but it might surprise you that you actually do once you do it, okay? So this is actually a pretty good lesson, and now it's starting to kind of connect the dots a little bit. Like, most of the fear that you have that's not moving you forward is really in the anxiety of it, right? It's really in the anticipation of it. It's not in the actual thing. So Spirit is basically saying, like, once you do it, then it's going to have such a positive outcome for you. It's going to feel so good for you. It's just about doing it. Like, this whole thing, all of these weeks about just moving forward, it's like your anxiety is being created, your worry is being created because of not moving forward, not because of like nothing else is happening. Like it's literally you're creating your own suffering, okay? And you guys have heard me say that before, but it's true. It's almost like we're feeling like that, and we're actually creating that. And so basically, you'll be surprised at how good you feel, how positive you feel, and it'll really change your trajectory and how you really view things going forward. So get yourself out of the place that you are with pity, where you are with anxiety. Just the only way that you're going to get out of it is by doing it, okay? And that's what Spirit is saying here. So interesting stuff. Okay, let's see what Friends has for us. Oh no, this card is tearing at the corner. Okay, we have New Life. Okay, new friends coming in. This is actually pretty straightforward. New Life always represents, we've had, like I mentioned before, like we've had like a really weird up and down with our friendships in the last, I would say this was lasting for months on end, some funky energy. People, you gravitating more towards like-minded people, and people kind of falling off. New people kind of coming in, and now it just feels like, again, I feel like this foundational type energy that's kind of coming from that 4 here, was coming from that 4, but also I know it says 39, but it's definitely coming off of this kind of card. Like it's saying like your new life is really gonna, like who, the people that are around you, or pay attention to the people that kind of come into your life this week, in general, the people that at least surround you, or basically Spirit is saying like it's a good week to make new friends. But anyway, the foundation is there, right? Where, I don't think you'll be losing any, the people that are around you now are like a solid core foundation is basically it, and how, you're going to spend like the next cycle of your life with these people around you. And it's a positive thing because like I said, you've been kind of going through weird cycles, the last couple of weeks with with your friend group, and it kind of changed a bit, and it kind of was all over the place. But you should be good, and it should be more even keeled going forward. What do we got? Romantic connection, balance. Okay, so just finding balance in your relationships, your romantic connections, finding balance in your dating life for anybody that's single out there. An even give and take. I mentioned this. I said usually the stag is more masculine, but could be a little bit more, thrive is moving forward. That's masculine. Trust is more of a feminine thing. So there's a little bit of a mix there. And so we have the balance here. So basically it's saying whether you're not spending enough time on your relationship and working more, or maybe that's happening with your partner, just even it out. Basically, even give and take, even trust and thrive, trust and do, being and doing, that kind of thing. So it looks good there. There's not too much more to say. What's important, guys? Vampire, shadow, depleting others for your psychic survival, chronic complaining, and codependency. Okay, so this is important. I know I just said something about, the foundational of our friends, and this feels good. Like, it almost feels like you can't touch this, right? Where it's saying, like, this is not what Spirit is talking about here. So what I will say here is energy vampires, look out for them at work. Look out for them randomly. So if you are meeting new friends, I trust that you guys will be able to, what's the word I'm looking for? Detect that, but look out for people that randomly kind of come in and deplete your energy. Guys, this could be family too. So just, have your boundaries, do your thing. There's lots of ways that people could fall into like an energy vampire, just like sucking your energy. Just like people that like are not your vibe could just be like an energy vampire that just like literally drain your energy. Maybe they have too much anxiety, maybe, too much nervous energy, ask too many questions, are chronic complainers, are a little bit on the narcissistic side, talk about themselves a lot, self-serving, those different things. So it could be under a few different categories, but basically Spirit is just asking that you trust your intuition, trust your energy, and look out for people like this, and don't even give them a chance, is what Spirit is saying. Like, as soon as you notice, try to move away from that, basically, is what Spirit is saying. So important. Health and wellness. We have She-Wolf, Unleash the Wild Within. I love that. So basically this is saying you could be a little bit more lax. You can be a little bit more wild. You can be a little bit unhinged. And these things are positive things, by the way, because I'm going to give another example, and it's going to be a personal example. A lot of you guys know I'm going through chronic illness. Almost there. But basically, to me, this would say you could be a little bit more lax. Like, maybe, I'm on a strict protocol. So, like, less strict is basically what I'm trying to say. So maybe I could veer off the diet a little bit. I have to do 20 minutes of exercise every day. Maybe I can only, I can start doing 15 or skip a day or something like that. Like, basically, it's saying you could be a little bit more off the beaten path. It doesn't necessarily have to be so strict. But again, just as I said with the energy vampire, use your intuition. I'm not telling you to go off your protocols or anything like that. That was just an example for me. I don't even know if I'm going to do those things. That's just an example. I'm going to, take it day by day and see what my intuition says. But that's the energy, though. That's basically saying that you can go a little bit more rogue, right? You can go a little bit more wild. Like, there's some room there for your health and your wellness. Even if you are just trying to get healthy, right? Maybe you haven't... you've been kind of, maybe depriving yourself is a little bit of a strong of a word, but maybe this week you have a cheat week, or a cheat day, or cheat meal, whatever it actually is. So, I don't know, do people still say that anymore? But this is basically saying you can go a little wild. You can go a little off the beaten path. You can go a little rogue, okay? It's not going to kill you. It's not going to hurt you. But again, listen to your own intuition. And if, the example I gave, talk to a doctor. I'm not a doctor. And again, use your own intuition, okay? I cannot stress that enough. Okay, overall outcome, what do we got going on? Soulmates. Okay, interesting. Okay, so this tells me that again, soulmates is the type of connections that are easier, that are more simpatico, that are more, in alignment, that feel more in flow. So it's not like you have to do a lot of explaining. It's not a lot of butting heads, etc., etc. So the reason I'm saying that is, yes, it could pertain to relationships. Like I said, the relationship corner is really positive this week, so I love it. Just, again, important. As soon as you identify an energy vampire and somebody taking your energy down, get the hell out of there, basically. But basically, this is saying like things are a little bit easier in general, okay? Your connection's a little bit easier. Things flow a little bit more, okay? So in a way, it's kind of saying like things are flowing a little bit more overall, and that's always a positive thing. But again, it always does lean a little bit more to relationships. And like I said, we have good, positive energy kind of coming from this corner here. So basically it's saying, that things are smooth. This also could mean, because this is pertaining to the soul. So a lot of this, I'm not going to lie to you guys. I was a little, not shaken up, but it wasn't the best energy kind of up here, okay? Up until Nature Child, basically. Where Spirit is saying, like, start to use your resources and when things start to change, technically, right? Because there's a lot of, like I mentioned earlier, victim mentality, using excuses, not moving forward, that kind of thing, and failing to kind of see the positives in things and the beauty in things, etc. But all of this stuff feels like as soon as you start to like move past that, you can start to feel more so connected to your higher self, which I interchange with soul. Okay, that's really what your soul is. It's really your higher self, right? And so I know some people have, will separate them, just how people separate universe and God and that kind of thing, and totally cool. We don't have to agree for you to get benefit from these readings, right? We're pretty much on the same page in general. We're not going to get very menial on these terms. But anyway, so basically this is saying like the more you can get in touch with your soul, the more you can meet more soulmates, the more you can meet your soul desires, right? The more you can feel more at peace in your soul in general, right? I know we don't have any peace cards here, but it's kind of alluding to that. So, things are easier when we listen to our soul, okay? And don't forget, guys, I say this all the time. I mentioned it a couple of times already here with these two, okay? Reminding you guys, because we don't have any intuition cards here, but intuition is the voice of the soul. That's how the soul communicates, okay? So the more we listen to our intuition, the more we can listen to our higher self and our soul, okay? So that's kind of the point. So I love that it's here. So basically it's saying we're going in the aligned direction for that, but it definitely is here to keep the faith and say, we're moving in a direction where things do feel like they're more in alignment, and we are going to be doing things that are more soulful, connected to our soul, soulmates, soul desires, soul food. Maybe soul food is a little of a stretch, but you guys know what I mean. It was a joke. But yeah, so that's really the energy that I'm getting from there. So overall, pretty decent reading. I'm not going to say it's the greatest because, like I said, it was a little bumpy up there, and it's up to us, guys. Don't forget we have free will, okay? So it's up to us to move past our blocks, okay, and what's holding us back in life, okay? And according to this reading, in the last few weeks, we're still in that place a little bit, and that's okay. All right, it's not going to happen in 1 week miraculously. We're going to move forward. It's always about small baby steps, okay? That's why sometimes we get repeating stuff with these readings, because it's not going, very, very far and in between. Things are more radical, okay? Where it's very like cut and dry. I don't want to say black and white because nothing is black and white, but it's more on a faster pace, okay? It doesn't feel that way, okay? So it makes sense that the reading went the way that it went. So yes, guys, have a wonderful, wonderful week, and I will see you guys for the next reading next week. Have a wonderful day, and like I said, week. Bye, guys.